Alrighty. So, hello everyone. I'm Peter Kisisian. I just won RC Portland with Amulet Titan. I'm joined with Laton. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Laton, fellow Amulet Titan player and a testing buddy of Pete's.
Yeah. So I thought it would be interesting to go over all my feature matches and commentate over them, some of my decision making. But before we get into that, I might as well show you my list. So here it is. Pretty standard ish. I'm on Green Suns, unlike some people. I have Dryad Arbor. Some people were trying it without. I have a sideboard pretty tech for the Breach matchup. Other than
Uh,
that, nothing too crazy. These are somewhat standard cards, other than the Grist and the Keen-Eyed Curator. And actually these sideboard Dryads, and we'll probably get into that a little bit during the coverage. But we're just gonna commentate over the matches and focus on that.
I think the three Rumbles are notably different than most stock lists,
Yeah,
though.
that's true. And you'll be seeing a lot of Rumble today. But anyway, we're just going to get right into it. So the first match I was on coverage was actually against my roommate's friend, Luke, on White Black. I know he's a pretty skilled player, and I always felt like this match was pretty tough, facing down a skilled White Black player, and if they're inexperienced, it's usually not too bad. So I have my work cut out for me, and I start by mulling to 5, I believe.
Yeah, but mulling to 5 and opening with Saga Amulet isn't too bad.
Yeah.
And here, basically, as soon as turn 2, you can be worried about Phantom, worried about Felia. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe my hand has a Rumble, and I am aiming to cast that next turn. You're about to see what it is that I hit, but if I hit probably anything relevant, I at least have a shot at the game, and I don't, and we're about to see me get kind of destroyed as a result. This badge is my only loss for the entire tournament, so, and it's not a very exciting one to watch. So we might start zooming through it, but it's basically decided by the first few turns. By turn 3, I've basically already lost the game. But yeah, there's a lot of annoying things that a white black player can do to bully an amulet player. They can flicker wisp your bounce land. It's especially brutal when you only have bounces in play, so it's just like a double stone rain there. Obviously, White Orchid Phantom's great. Felia's really difficult to beat. Honestly, of the things the deck does that are annoying, the one that annoys me the least is Solitude looping, because the Analyst build is so much better at ignoring Solitude completely.
Yeah. They can Flicker Wisp their land to blow up a Saga or an Amulet.
Yes, they can Flicker Wisp, Witch Enchanter, Felia as well. That's really annoying. It's basically just a free disenchant. They don't have to pay mana for it.
Felia can't hit the land because Felia is non-land.
Okay.
But yeah.
So here when I rumble and pick up a bounce, I'm kind of disappointed because I already had one. So that's not good for me to start off with. And I believe he's about to Felia me. Yeah, he's Felia's me. And we'll see what his next turn is, but it's probably one of the worst possible things he could have. I'm not happy to see Felia here in general, because at the least it kills my Scion. I have 6 mana next turn anyway, but the Scion would be nice to stick around, because I honestly don't expect this Ursa Saga to live to begin with.
Yeah, there's so many things that screw with it between Flicker Wisp, White Orchid Phantom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flicker Wisp on Urza Saga is also notable to reset your lore counter.
Yeah. But yeah, he's about to Skyclave me and take my amulet, which basically wins him the game. He's about to take me off both amulets, and I'm about to sit and play having nothing and playing lands turn after turn, not playing any ramp. So he's starting off by just Feliaing my Scion, and then he's gonna Skyclave my amulet.
Yeah, and now you're just completely under the squeeze.
Yeah. So, I basically lose the game here. I have to draw extremely well to get out of this. It probably involves ripping 2 amulets in a row. I think my hand is just a Primeval Titan, not even like a Scape Shift, so I don't really have the utility. Like, it's not like I can draw It's not like I can just draw another Amulet effect after the Skyclave's about to take the second one and cast Scape Shift or something. I have to naturally get to 6 lands that don't have any other ramp in hand. I was just hoping on double Amulet hopping me to 6, and that is obviously not an option anymore.
Yeah, I see a Hanweir in your hand and Deeps. And in a little bit, we might just skip through.
Honestly, it's probably worth skipping through here. I think I don't do anything relevant, and by the time I finally cast Primeval Titan, it's with no Amulet in play, and I'm facing a down lethal regardless, so we might as well just hop through this one, and we're about to see... they didn't show my game 2. Let's see, is this still game 1? This is still game 1, yeah.
Yeah, this is the same game.
Does not go well for me.
All right.
Okay, sorry. This is game 3. Very far into game 3. And this is a very pathetic game for my end, but my keep is worth talking about. Alright, here's the start. So we're just sideboarding right now. So to go into this, because they're probably not going to show me thinking about my keep forever, because it did take a bit. I mull my 7, it was just bad. On 6, I ponder and end up actually keeping Dryad Arbor, Lotus Field, Grazer, Spelunking, I believe Pact. Dryad Arbor, Lotus Field, Grazer, Spelunking, Pact. Something else that wasn't a land.
Scape Shift, it looks like.
Okay, yeah. The reason why I keep this, and I'm just going to pause this here, is because this seems like a matchup where you want to keep as many possible cards in hand as possible, even if they don't necessarily get well together. For example, I think I'd probably snap any hand that has a Scape Shift in it and lands to cast it, and like a Dryad and a Titan. I actually did keep that and ended up winning. Scape Shift's insanely good in this matchup because there's nothing you can really do about it. And the reason why I like hands that just like have a bunch of high quality cards in them is because they're really bad at pressuring you. So if, say, your hand's incumbent upon a Spelunking or Amulet, you have a lot of time to draw into it, and almost all of their removal for both of those is sorcery speed. So you have the luxury of being able to sandbag it and not play it until the turn you're about to go off. Just keep hitting your land drops, put as many lands in play as possible for Shift. Obviously, Shift's a little less attractive here because I'm priced into playing my Lotus, but Lotus is also very good in the matchup because it's immune to Flicker Wisp and White Orchid Phantom because it's hexproof. So one thing they often do is bull you by White Orchid Phantoming or Flicker Wisping your bounce land and just like keep Stone Raining you into Oblivion. I'm on the draw. I win game 2 on turn 3 with Scape Shift, so I'm on the draw here. The reason why I keep is if on my first draw I draw any non-bounce, I obviously have better moves than turn 1 Dryad Arbor. Even if I don't, though, I have 2 turns to draw any land. If it's a bounce, I can bounce Arbor to my hand, and at the least, I don't have to worry about it dying and then having no lands to play. But if I draw a normal land that isn't a bounce land or a Lotus, I can play that land and immediately Grazer in my Lotus and sack the Arbor and that land. And I'm then immune to Flicker Wisp for the rest of the game. It's still pretty risky. I just didn't think there were that many functional 5s that could actually win me the game against Black-White. And so it's not that I thought it would work. I thought it would work more than a 5-card hand. Go ahead. Yeah.
I disagree a bit here. I think this is just too risky of a keep. I think Dryad Arbor is very fragile in the matchup. I think we'll see in a bit. It's going to get solituded.
It gets marched.
It gets marched.
Yeah. And another thing I didn't think about is when I do this play with Grazer and he solitudes my Arbor with the Lotus on the stack, I'm also screwed. So
yeah.
I didn't quite think about that. I probably should have mulled this and tried to play a game against White-Black after with that as my opening hand to see what happens. It did not go well for me.
I think there are a decent amount of functional 5s that you can keep versus Black-White. I think this is just not a functional, because I think Black-White's main plan against you is going to be mana denial, and I think keeping a hand that has functionally a half a land in Dryad Arbor is, I think, just asking to get blown out.
Well, the mana denial, so early, I think what they keep early is a hand filled with land destruction, and then they're happy to draw into removal later, which is sort of what I was banking on.
That's fair.
It didn't work out great for me. I know they cut pushes post board because those seem awful. The Solitudes they keep in, and at least there's a cost to that. Not one that I could beat, but there is a cost to pitching a card to kill my Arbor, and March is just worst possible because it lets him use his mana on turn one and also doesn't go down another card. So honestly, we can get into the match. I'll show you it getting marched. I'm going to lose extremely badly as a result. Because
And while that's
I like
Sorry.
the idea of just trying to draw strings of lands more than trying to win on a 5. Because, like, if I draw any land there that isn't Arbor, like, I draw any land there I can play instead of Arbor, I'll just do that instead. So I even have outs to the hand being more attractive immediately. I'm a little under 1 and 2 because I cut my Urza Saga, so I have 28-ish, 27 lands.
I just see a lot of 5s that are a lot more attractive even if you draw a land here.
I think all those 5s, like, need to have Spelunking or Amulet, and I just don't think, like, that wouldn't have lived into the March anyway. And with on 5 cards against a deck that could blow up lands, the only way I could, like, conceivably figure out how I would win is if it's with Scapeshift, which I only have 2 copies of.
I guess I still, maybe it's just because of seeing how much you get blown out here that we're inflicted on whether a 5 is better.
Yeah.
Also, notably, one thing to talk about with Shift, when it comes to just the black-white matchup in general, their only piece of interaction there is Aven Interrupter.
Yeah.
Because if you do a 4-land Shift pile and they Interrupter your Pact, then you are kind of screwed.
Yeah.
But a lot of players don't know to do that.
They don't, yeah. But that's just sort of the experience with Scapeshift. You, like, it's not that you get blown out by things, it's that you literally die.
Yeah.
And that's just sort of the experience. It beats any amount of removal in exchange for, like, actually killing you to other things.
To on the stack interaction. Yeah.
So I'm just going to rewind until multiple turns. I don't draw land for, like, 6 turns in a row here. Let's see. So I finally draw Beseiju slightly before this. He starts card casting his stuff to hit me with, which I actually think was totally correct. Because as it turns out, I was drawing into a kill if I finally drew a land. So I pick up the second Amulet at some point, and with the Lotus and a bounce. So with the Lotus in hand, I actually have lethal once I find my first land. And what's funny too is I have lethal without even casting my Amulet on the turn I draw that first land. So I think, yeah, is this the turn I drew Beseiju? No. No, I'm moving to cleanup again. So I'm very soon about to draw a Beseiju, and I'm going to play it and pass, and my opponent's really confused, which makes sense. And the reason why I play it and pass is because I have lethal in hand without actually casting the Amulet. So my hand is Amulet, Bounce, Lotus, Grazer, Pact. It loses to everything. He needs to have absolutely nothing. But with a with a Witch Enchanter in play and the possibility for Felia to come down, I don't want to chuck this Amulet right in front of it. Like, you have that option, which is like half on board, as well as, like Wrath of Skies, any of the sorcery speed, artifact enchantment removal, another Witch Enchanter. So I don't want to play that and play into that, so I just end up passing, which confuses him quite a lot. He ends up drawing Thoughtseize, so he gets to see what's up, which is already not great. It ends up being the right play not to cast that Amulet because he's about to flash in Felia, which would have blown it up with a Witch Enchanter. So he's about to Thoughtseize me, and we're about to see my hand, and I can just, explain what lethal would have been from there. I have a Shift in hand, which is basically useless because I just don't have any lands in play. But, yeah. He whacks me. Yeah, so we're about to see my hand. I'm at 5 now. I'm basically screwed. And he ends up taking the Scapeshift, which I don't think is correct, but he also probably mapped out in his head that I can't really do anything with the play he's about to make. So, it's fine enough.
Shift looks so mid on this board, but I guess he did also lose to Shift last round.
Yeah, he did. People tend to be most scared of the thing they just died to.
Yeah. I think taking an Amulet.
I think Amulet is the correct take as well. I can't do anything if he does that. So he ends up draw stepping, and it probably shouldn't have been draw step in case I drew Dismember, but he's about to blow up my Boseiju just to tap it, which is actually a really smart play. So I can't do the line that I was thinking of in my head. So in my head, I had Amulet, Bounce, Amulet, Grazer, Lotus, Titan, Kill, which wouldn't have worked if he had Solitude or really anything, but I now can't do it. So I just lose on the spot here. I just tank about it for a bit and realize I'm super dead. So this is my one match loss for the whole tournament. So I thought it was worth looking at, even though this game was pretty pathetic and had no real agency on either side other than me deciding to keep a bad 6. Just because it was interesting to talk about. So we're going to move on to the day 2 coverage where I'm on feature match 4 times. Let's see if we can... Is this it? Yeah. And that's at 7 hours, 51 seconds. And while this ad plays, I need to make sure this is indeed still recording. Yep. So this is round 10 against Underworld Breach. It's against someone who ends up top 8ing. And I play him again in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and it's actually 7:53, I think.
Okay. So I have won game 1, it looks like, and they're showing my game 2. I won game 1. I don't recall how I won game 1, to be honest, but I did.
Probably just outsped.
Yeah, probably outsped. I don't recall if I won the die roll or not. I don't think I did because I didn't win many before the... I didn't win too many die rolls on day 2.
Just one with pure skill, no die rolls.
So I see a Grazer in this hand. I also have a bad habit of leaving my lands too far behind. I don't know why that happens to me and only me. So some of my lands get cut off. So post-board against Breach, which is what my opponent is playing, I basically value anything with an oof in it highly, including one with, like, a hand with basically no ramp whatsoever. It's just so hard for them to beat oof, and oof is your ramp in the sense that it keeps you alive for like 6 turns.
Yeah, and it just shuts off all their mana, it shuts off their redraws.
Yes.
The fact that they can't bobble to redraw their way out of this is relevant.
Yeah. So I don't recall if I actually end up oofing him. Odds are high that I do, though. I think it's easier to have a hand with a Green Suns or an oof in it than it is to kill him on turn 3, so it probably ends up oofing him. So right now, for what it's worth, oh, he does not have Consign up. He only has 2 artifacts.
Yeah.
So not worried about playing around that here. He mills a Breach here, which is kind of scary, which means that my Boseiju lines are immediately not very good because I can play around Boseiju by just breaching, casting the Breach they have in Yard, and then there's 2 of them, and I can't do anything. So I don't like seeing Breach milled. You'd think, like, some might think that's good because that means fewer in the deck, but in my experience, that just means it's going to be harder to stop him.
And here he just has 4 mana turn 2.
Yeah.
If he's got a land drop, which is a typical Breach
I actually
experience.
think he might not.
If he doesn't
I
have a land,
remember this game correctly, he might not have a land.
Which is still fine for him.
It is still fine for him.
But it does mean an oof is going to be devastating if it shuts off both Amber and Opal.
If I remember correctly, this is the game where I have Force in my hand the entire game. Even though he's shown me he doesn't have mana, I just don't care about shutting this off. I use Force exclusively to shut off the combo. And the problem with forcing here is that he can rebuild his lost mana over a few turns anyway with Emery. So by forcing his mana here while he's missing land drops, I'm basically stating I plan to win in the next few turns before you could just recover from this force that I'm throwing at you, which I can't. Yeah. I don't think I can.
And I believe you do sideboard in Dryads versus Breach. I do as well.
Yes.
Just just because the games get so grindy with Oof that Dryad really pulls ahead.
Yeah, just having something that could sit and play and let you hit your land drops when you have a hate piece out instead of you having to like rumble or grazer to get your ramp in play. It means you only have to spend a card on your ramp for the whole game instead of multiple.
Yeah. And the fact that they have you're already wanting to take out Saga due to stuff like Consign.
Yes, Sagas came out.
So having that extra ramp there is really nice.
Yeah, Saga's bad into Nature's Claim, Consign, Haywire Might. Breach is probably one of the best deck in the format at bullying you with an Urza Saga. Bullying your Urza Sagas.
Which is something notable from basically every top deck, is that everything except basically Eldrazi bullies Urza Saga.
So, one interesting dynamic here is that Aether Spellbomb is actually pretty annoying because I have an Amuletless start. And I'm looking at my hand, and my Titans can bog him and stuff, which is nice, but he can just leave the Aether Spellbomb in play to continue emerying it, and it's so mana intensive to have to cast Titan every turn that it's a big enough problem for me that I'm worried about it.
Interesting.
Usually, like, in game 1, Aether Spellbomb looks embarrassing, so people might want to cut it, but every post-board game I have against Breach looks really embarrassing, ominously from both ends often. And that's the type of, like, you know, small game stuff that's really hard to beat post-board when you don't have access to Amulets or Spelunkings because they've been killed or you know, basically kept any hand with an oof in it. Mm-hmm. So here I rumble, and I'm taking so long because I've milled both my Valakut and my Echoing Deeps, which shuts me off from Valakut for the rest of the game. So I take Dryad because I'm like, if I really, really have to, I can Shifting Woodland my Valakut. Which
or you can just analyst it.
Oh, this is my quarterfinals match.
Yeah, this is.
No, I was on coverage a different time. Can we skip past it? We can go back to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go back to that one after. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was wondering why it was so late in the day. So I think if I have 2 cards in hand, or I believe it's Arbor Force of Vigor. I keep Dryad Arbor in hand because it's a green card. You can pitch it to Force. It's actually insanely handy, and I pitched Arbor to Force all the time. I'll like pick it up with bounce lands and stuff too.
It does say on the card, Dryad Arbor is green.
Yeah. So obviously I feel like I'm in a good spot other than the fact that his hand, you know, might just murder me because he kept the one-lander. It's still a fine one-lander. Like, he still had 3 mana on turn 2. So, you know, I guess at this point I'm not actually sure if he's just going to kill me once he finally draws out of only having 1 land.
I mean, he has 4 mana effectively.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Because you can Emery to cast the other Mox Amber. He's got the station here.
So he does have the station here, and I have an interesting decision about to come up because he's about to go for the kill. Which is, you know, at this point very obvious now that he sacked his Amber for no reason.
Yeah. And so now, you've got the decision of whether to Force of Vigor as the Breach comes down.
So that is never the right answer. What's awkward is he has Spell Piercing Yard.
Oh, I see.
But he leads by going with a Mox, so I need to kill Breach with this Mox on the stack, or I lose. I can't beat the Spell Pierce. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is no longer full screen. How do I...
But now that you do that, this should just be locked up. Or there's no way to win from here for him.
How do I make this full screen? Oh. Ah, here it is. Yeah, so I have a force. Obviously, one's going at the breach. I could conceive. So I'm going to pause this here. I can conceive of dying if I don't tag his station. The problem is this Aether Spellbomb, the way this game is playing out, is looking like it's going to be very good here. I'm about to go to 0 cards in hand, and the things I want to look towards drawing are Titan, Bajuka Bog, what else?
You take out map as well.
I take out map, although map would be a good draw here. If I draw Titan or Bog, I would love to get rid of that Aether Spellbomb, and then I don't have to worry about it. I think it's worth the risk of going for blowing up the Spellbomb here. He ends up not killing me. He needs I don't know what he needs to still kill me through that. It seems impossible, actually, so I guess I stand by killing the Aether Spellbomb. It just felt odd. It's just like a station in yard does nothing for him, especially with that many cards in yard. So I just go for Breach and the Spellbomb here, because if there's such high upside to Bog it forever, if I draw Titan or Bog.
Yeah, this turn what he needs to win is another land, which he probably doesn't have, and another Breach.
Yeah.
And if he ends up drawing another Breach, if you kill the grinding station, he could just Breach it back. Though, of course, if you Bog it. But I think killing the Spellbomb makes sense here.
Yeah, so he doesn't have another land, but he might have another Mox. So that's a reason to kill the grinding station. But yeah, he might still have enough mana anyway, I don't know. If he has another Breach, he can just kill me next turn anyway, so... I have one turn to draw something that would disrupt that to begin with, so I'm fine taking a risk of dying this turn, since I would just die next turn anyway. So he goes for grinding station himself here. He knows I have 0 in hand, so I think that's fine. It would be obviously a disaster if he milled his win con and then I ripped Bog, but he knows I have none in hand. Endurance would be another reason to get rid of the Aether Spellbomb. Mm-hmm. And I'd be in a really good spot if that's what ends up happening.
You've got a lot of good draws here. Even a Rumble digging to a Titan or a Bog.
Yeah, or an Oof,
Or an Oof, yeah.
Yeah. I end up drawing an Oof, which, as you might imagine, is very good here.
Yeah, it shuts off all his mana, basically.
I believe I draw an Oof here. We'll see.
Just get the beats in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These triple vestiges are actually looking pretty awkward. Obviously, if my Dryad dies, then I have only 2 sources of green mana, which is pretty rough. Can't complain too much about drawing Oof, though.
Yeah, the question of whether to do a 3-3 split versus 4 forest and 2 vestige is interesting, especially since black-white having forests is so important.
Mm-hmm. So here I'm a little scared to see this Saga, because in the embarrassing games like this one, Urza Saga is usually how that cracks it open. Now, I just have so much mana, and a Dryad in play means any Titan, just kills him. So I'm not insanely worried, and if he doesn't draw another land, then this Saga being played is actually high upside for me, because it's a land that kills itself.
And fetches something that won't be useful.
Yes. And I think I draw a Titan here.
Unless he finds Pithing Needle to shut off your spawn, and then I don't know what you're doing.
You do know that doesn't work, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, no, I don't draw a Titan here. I just draw a Lotus.
Which lets you convert the colorless mana into...
Yeah, I'm happy to have some more colors here. I mean, not as happy as I would be to draw a Titan, but, given that I'm amuletless, it seems handy to have extra green sitting around so I can get Bounce Beseiju and hold it up. If I do draw Titan.
Yeah.
So he didn't hit his land, which is great for me.
Oof is just so brutal in these Breach matches. Just not even just stopping their combo, but stopping all of their mana, their redraws, their Tameo clues.
Yeah.
Your opponent's just sitting over there doing nothing.
Yeah. Exactly. I believe I drew Beseiju this turn, which obviously I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah.
Not the happiest, but pretty happy. And he can needle my Beseiju here, but I'm not going to blow up his Saga. That seems actually like that would be horrible. It would give him red mana. So
Yeah.
that's just not an option. He can needle my Beseiju. I'm like wondering if that is correct, just because Haywire Might clearly doesn't do anything for multiple reasons.
It's a body. He is currently at 7 life.
That's
Haywire
true,
Might
yeah.
blocks and gains him. But I think the main clock you have isn't your creatures on board, it's you drawing towards a Titan.
Yeah. Haywire Might means he can double block a oof, so I can no longer attack with it. So there's
Yeah,
that.
that's true. So yeah, that's what he goes for.
I feel heavily favored from here just because like a solid third of my deck probably kills him.
Yeah, and he's still no lands, 1 land in play. Yeah.
Believe I missed that I think I draw Titan here and I missed that I can haste it. That's on me. Whoops. I would haste it by tightening with a red floating and then getting bounce Hanweir, picking it up, playing it for turn, and then hasting a Titan. I still have Growth Chamber up to right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I have Growth Chamber 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I don't have Growth Chamber up if I do this.
Yeah, it would be short of
yeah.
It would be short of also holding up a Seiju, which I don't know if that's even relevant at this point.
I would hold up a Beseiju. That seems better in getting in for some damage. Well, is it? He has a Breach and Yard, but only 1, 2, 3 mana to play with, even if Oof dies, and he needs to spend mana on making the Oof die. Holding up a Beseiju seems fine here, given that.
I mean, you could also just get Valakut bounce and kill him, but if he has
Valakut and Deeps have been milled.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I am about to get Shifting Woodlands though, I think. Shifting Woodlands, I think it's probably Shifting Woodlands Bog, given the Beseiju in hand. Oh, that's another reason to keep a Beseiju. If I'm bogging him, that Beseiju is actually going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like setting up 2 sources of semi-lethal. Titan's lethal in the sense that he can't beat it, and Shifting Woodlands on Valakut is lethal in that he dies. So that's why I go for that. Bogging him just seems correct there with Beseiju in hand.
I agree.
And then I attack for getting he as a free block, but that doesn't really matter at all. So we draw Saga for turn. I still don't really care about it.
Yeah, because now he can make some constructs maybe if he draws another land, but
yeah.
With Woodlands on Valakut, you are basically locked up to win next turn.
Yeah. It's only Nature's Claim that matters here.
Yeah, exactly.
I pay for Pact. That's a good idea. The die on top is so I don't kill myself to my Pact. You should, if you're playing with Pact, you should do that.
Oh.
You can't draw your card without knocking it off, so you can't forget it.
Yeah, though, I mean, it doesn't necessarily kill you due to new rules, but if you cast something and your opponent's scummy, then...
That's not scummy. It's like kind of the other way around. Like, I'm going to pause this for a sec. If I miss my Pact trigger on my upkeep, I will concede to you. I think it's really stupid that I don't just lose when I miss it. Technically, what your opponent can do is if you miss it, it's on them to say, hey, I'd like you to pay for your Pact, and they can do it at any point during your turn, so they can wait for you to tap out and then ask for you to pay your Pact.
Yeah, but it is, from a judge's perspective, I believe if they notice it and then wait and then remind you during that is illegal on them as well.
I did not know that. I just pay for my packs, and if I don't, I scoop.
Yeah. Of course. You should, in general, just pay for your packs.
Well, yeah, always. And the die on top trick is good. I've killed myself to my own pact and like not in the I got Blood Moon way or like someone destroyed my land way like once in the last 2 years, and I'm just like I realized a turn later I was like I didn't pay for pact and then just scooped. I just think it's a silly rule. Just pay for your pact on your upkeep.
I disagree because I think it's just nice to not have non-games where you just lose to forgetting something, but
Yeah, but it's
Anyways,
just
let's
that,
just
like,
carry
if they
on.
didn't want, they shouldn't have put it on the card, basically.
That's fair. All right, let's carry on.
So right now, there's about to be a lengthy judge call happening. I'm about to shifting woodland my Valakut with the Titan trigger on the stack, so I'm holding priority. What I want to make sure is whether I can, if so, I shifting woodland my Valakut. I'm about to do this, tap everything except for my forest to woodland my Valakut. I want to know what happens when I Vesuva that shifting woodland that became a Valakut, if it becomes a Valakut. And I don't see why it wouldn't happen, but I've never done this before, so I wanted to make sure. This just kills him,
Does it
given
end
that
up?
he's at 9, though.
Does it end up happening?
Yeah. While the judge call happens, I confirm it's what I want to do. The reason why I want to do it is I get bounce land, I believe. What is it I get? I get bounce land Vesuva, and I pick up, with the plan to pick up shifting woodlands after resolving all the Valakut triggers. The reason why is I don't have an untapped land in hand, and I can play that from hand for turn since it's untapped as a forward, and still keep up a Seiju if something goes wrong here.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, this judge call takes a bit, so I'm just going to tell you that he dies here. But that was my plan, and the judge ruled that that is what happened. So I can have Vesuva be a Valakut, and I can just do 12 to face and don't have to worry about chump blocking, him gaining life off of might. I suppose if he chumps with everything, does he die? He goes might in front of Dryad, Emery, Tamio in front of Titan. He gains 2, goes up to 11, takes
1.
takes 1.
10. He takes 6. You have 2 land drops left. If you pick up bounce here instead of picking up shifting woodland, then he is dead.
Yeah, but I could also like it lose. It doesn't really matter how I sequence it. Like he either has Nature's Claim here, he doesn't.
All right. Do you want to go back to the other
Yes,
game on?
and I wanted to talk about this because I had a mistake on stream where I used Shifting Woodlands and didn't have Delirium to give lethal, and some people thought that was an intentional cheat, and I wanted to explain what happened there. So that's about to come up sort of soon, but just for now, my hand was basically unbeatable anyway, so I realized my mistake, called the judge on myself while I was sideboarding, because that's when I noticed, and explained, this was in hand. I don't think you could have won anyway. And the judge is like, yeah, I mean, it happened. Like, your opponent conceded. There's nothing you could really do. We already packed up our cards and started sideboarding. But yeah, once that comes up, I'm going to start explaining what happened in my head to make that mistake, because that was not good. I felt pretty bad about that. So this is actually against the exact same opponent. We end up playing in the top 8 again.
The Peters are always bound to.
Yeah. So this is game 1. Ooh. Yeah, I actually don't off the top of my head remember what happens in this game. So he's in the play, which is obviously good for him, but his hand doesn't have everything, which it kind of needs to, game 1.
Yeah, because game 1, it's mostly just about speed.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed is that Breach needs to tap out their first few turns just to develop, which gives you free reign to do everything in anything you want in your first 2 turns, or 3 if you're on the play. Like, someone was ragging on one of my eventual opponents who are not keeping up Spell Pierce and tapping out for Emery or something, which did lose them the game. If they Spell Pierce Splunking, like, things are so much better for them. But I was talking to Nathan about it. Nathan of the Guilt Leaf, a very skilled Breach player. And he's like, yeah, if you want to kill anyone fast, you need to tap out for your first few turns just to make sure you're getting enough artifacts in play for Opal, Legends in play for Amber, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think the only real thing you need to worry about out of Breach game 1 is Haywire Might.
Yeah.
Which can be scary, but not always.
Yeah, they have to basically draw it or rumble into it. Saga for it's probably going to be too slow unless they lead on that, which is kind of aggro.
Yeah.
And it's also pretty telegraphed that they either don't have a 0 or they're going to might you if they do that.
And so we'll see what you do here, because yeah, I also don't remember off the top of my head what happened
Yeah, I
here.
don't think this is the game where I make that mistake with Woodlands because it was a post-board game, and it looks like this is
Yeah,
game
yeah.
one. Because
Yeah,
the
if you
thing I
if you had
woodlanded was an oof.
if you had main deck Collector Roof and Force Vigor, that would be a different judge call.
Yeah. So, okay. I think for so long here because I think I'm insanely dead. I think I have Beseiju in hand. I just can't do anything if I hold up Beseiju here. I need him to have nothing because I am faced with the exact same decision next turn, where I also have to choose between doing nothing or holding up Beseiju. I just go
I
for it
see.
now because next turn he's gonna have only one more card, and the turn after that he's gonna have two, and I'm doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I hit Lotus here, which is Titan Man on its own, so I can't remember what it is I pick. So I'm missing a Titan here. Yeah, I have to Rumble. I have nothing to do with my mana. And I'm just thinking in my head, please don't kill me.
Basically needs another land and a breach here.
Also
Does
worth
have a breach.
noting that I like natty hit Delirium off Rumble because that basically always happens. Rumble is really good. So I'm not super sure what he's thinking through here.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he does not have a breach, or the mana to cast it.
Well, what he could be thinking about is whether he thinks he has enough resources to win with a Rumble Loop here with a breach.
I
Without the
see.
station. Him playing
Yeah,
Sync is like, uh-oh, that's not good because he would want that in hand. Well, not necessarily. If he doesn't have a Mox, he just needs to play lands. Like, him
yeah,
tapping red, I'm like, crap. And then he realizes he should probably represent Unholy Heat. So I think he's about to instead tap his breeding pool or something.
he can't represent Unholy here at all.
No, he has a Steam Bet to play.
Oh, he's playing Grinding Station. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah.
I thought it was yeah.
Oh, so he...
Now he's
Oh, I'm just dying here. Okay, okay. So
yeah.
I believe I did die. Okay. So he just murders me here. I die. I think it was correct to not hold up a Seiju. Um,
Yeah, you're just in a bad spot no matter what.
yeah.
Um, it's just a question of when do you want to push against.
I think I
And so
think I would have had to commit my bounce land if I wanted to hold up a Seiju next turn. I technically could hold it up by rumbling first, and using the Scion, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, easily. I just used bounce mana, but I was missing a Titan, so I didn't have the option to try to rumble for a land to allow me to play my bounce out, my last bounce from hand. So if I can't remember my exact hand, but that's probably why I'm just like, yeah, if I died, I die. I did have a Beseiju to stop the combo, but I didn't have a Titan, which is obviously why I took one.
And so here you're bringing in Curator, Oof, Endurance, Dryad, Bog, and Force.
Yeah, so I have 9 cards coming in, and I'm bringing out all my sagas. I'm bringing out one Grazer. I'm bringing out one Pact because it's awkward into Consign. I'm not super sold on that. It might kill you, but honestly, more importantly, I've had multiple times where I have to pay for Pact with all my green sources, or enough green sources that I can't keep up like 2 Besejus, or, hardcast Force of Vigor, whatever it is I need, or hardcast Endurance. And they basically have 2 turns to kill me instead of just one while I'm tapped out, as a result of having to pay for Pact. And it's just not what post-board games are about. Post-board games are about green sensing for Oof, and, like, it buys you so much more time than you gain by having one more pack to draw towards. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I also don't know what the heck else to cut. I don't want to go down below 3 Grazers. I think Rumble is great in this matchup in particular. just because you have Oof as a really relevant cheap hit in the early game. And they often blow up your amulets and splunkings, and it can help you find more, or you need it to hit your land drops for the same reasons. Like if you don't have amulet or splunking play, you need to hit your you need to play bounce lands and just naturally hit your land drops every turn, or else you aren't getting anywhere.
Yeah, and then I believe here you're also taking out shifts.
Yes, all the escape shifts come out because those are like god awful bad into consign, and really bad into amulet removal. And given that I plan to keep any hand with an oof in it, and the hands that have amulet or splunking, they're probably just going to kill them anyway. I can pretty much bank on shift not working out great for me.
Yeah. And if you want, we can just skip past the rest of this sideboard.
Yeah, we should.
Games.
So I lead on a grazer. Let's go back to the beginning. So I keep a bad hand here on like a bad hand, but I have oof hand here probably if I remember correctly. Okay, so I start on a turn 1 woodland, which obviously isn't great. It looks like he starts on a hedge maze, so sort of the same thing coming from him. I have grazer at least to like, you know, have pretend I'm a ramp deck and not a deck that's just going to oof him next turn. Because post-board, I'm either keeping a hand that's going to harass him with oof or it's going to kill him on turn 3. And what makes it tough for him is he doesn't know which one I'm keeping.
Yeah.
So, this is the one where he keeps a one-lander. So, in this case in particular, I have to assume I'm dying very soon. Okay, so I don't think I have oof in hand. I must have Force of Vigor. I don't think I keep a hand this bad just because it has Endurance.
Yeah, Endurance is kind of just I'm tapping out for Titan here, but I want to have something up.
Yeah, and it will work like 35% of the time, but you're priced into tapping out for your Titan anyway, so you might as well hope it works. Like, they have to both have it, and also for it not to be disruptible by Endurance.
Yeah. This hand has to have Force of Vigor.
Yeah, it does. I remember this game. I just ignore the Force. And here I don't really care about the Aether Spellbomb. I could figure out how to get rid of it eventually. So here, I believe he hits an artifact so that Opal's active. No, he does not. I believe he's now just stuck on lands and passes for multiple turns. As soon as he puts something on the stack that would make Opal live, I like consider forcing, but like probably never do it, and I believe don't actually do it in game.
Especially because they can just Emery it back.
Yeah.
Rebuild over 2 turns.
Yeah. The only time I really consider is if it taps them out of consign or something, and I like kill them.
Yeah.
So I believe I'm going Spelunking here. Honestly, whenever I'm like asked more thoroughly to track mana, it kind of throws me because I only track I track total in the colors that I need, and someone's like, "How much red?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to use it, but I obviously have to when I'm on stream." So I'm about to put in a Lotus here. I believe I'm going to go Shifting Woodland Lotus, which means any Lotus in Delirium gives me infinite mana for the rest of the game, which is nice. And Delirium is about to be a very relevant subject very soon, because I'm about to try to Shifting Woodland something when I don't actually have Delirium, but thought I did. But yeah, I don't, if I remember correctly, in fact, I think my hand's an Endurance and a Force of Vigor, because I'm about to sack some kind of odd lands to this Lotus Field I'm about to put in play, just to leave up 7 mana for both. It's actually debatable if I should even crack this Analyst, but I mean, I should. Yeah, I definitely should. Why not? It makes Titan later a worse draw, but it lets me hold up literally 7 mana of interaction. That seems fine.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think I just sacked both bounces here because this is 7 exactly, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, it's 7, yeah.
And that confused the commentators are confused about that for a sec, and then Mason realized it's probably because I'm representing interaction on his turn, which was correct. I mean, In fact, I think I do flash in Endurance on his end step. With the Force in hand, I kind of wanted to start whacking him, and I think he cracks a Spell Bomb, and I want to get rid of that. I'm not sure. We'll see. I think he does something. He does something that isn't killing me. Actually, he might go for killing me. I can't remember. We'll see. This is one of the times. If it is trying to kill me, I believe the Endurance is about to stop him for once.
I mean, Endurance plus Force of Vigor.
Yeah, I know. I lead on Endurance Force first because it did look like it would actually work there. Like, he couldn't, he had like 1 or 2 in hand. He's about to legend roll a bunch of Moxes, I think.
Nice.
And with an Emery in play and him being choked on mana, that actually felt really meaningful to shuffle that stuff back. And it did look like it would actually disrupt his combo for once. So him playing another Emery is like not really a sign of strength or weakness. Like if he hits another artifact, it's so good for him, and it's still a 1-for-1 because currently his Emery doesn't do anything. Yeah. He doesn't, which is pretty atrocious for him. Yeah. I don't endurance him because there's nothing to endurance. I passed to him. I might have 2 in hand now, and it might have been the endurance. So he's about to Needle Besage,
which is a fair play.
Yeah.
Here.
Obviously not too miffed about it because I have Force in hand.
Yeah.
But this is a spot where it looks like Endurance will mop the floor with him, so I go for it. And what he's doing right now is so good for me. He's just throwing away cards trying to kill me, and I have a way to disrupt him. I don't know if he actually should be going for this, but because I clearly can't do anything. I clearly don't have anything I can be doing. I don't have Titan in hand, obviously.
Yeah, otherwise we would have casted it a long time ago.
I mean, I don't mind legend rolling the 1 opal to Rumble because it seems okay, right? Like he probably just needs to hit a land anyway, so at the worst he hits a land off this Rumble and plays it, and land's better than Lotus Petal.
I mean, and he can always just get back the opal with Emery, so I think it's very fair.
Yeah, and it also puts a Scion in play, which like pedaling your Mox Opal basically is that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his yard and he's got to be like crap. I actually don't know why I'm doing this right now. I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be showing him that I care about it right now. I don't like that I did that. Oh, I realized why. I wanted to see what artifacts he had. I shouldn't have looked. Because if he gets anything back that isn't a Mishra's Bauble, it's clear he's trying to kill me. And if he gets back a Bauble, it's clear he's probably not. And I can just Endurance away the Bauble. I think this actually would be a spot where I would Endurance away a Bauble just because he's stuck on lands and has like 2 in hand.
I agree.
So I probably shouldn't have given him that tell that I can care about his yard here. So I guess that's on me. But he does, I believe, go for it anyway. Yeah, and now it's clear he's trying to make moves. And I believe Woodland is what he took off Rumble. And that's another reason I want to Endurance him here, because I think he has a Breach in Yard, and while that's going to take him a little bit, because it costs a lot of mana, that will always be a problem for me in the future. Yeah. So I go for the Endurance here, I believe.
And yeah, here Endurance seems like it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm happy to hold up Force. That one is just nice to keep in hand forever, even though it costs a little more. And I don't think I have duplicate green cards for it. But he's fixed his having no mana problem at the least. Mm-hmm. but he is 2 in hand, so that's looking pretty dour for him.
I believe I just saw you draw a Titan.
Yeah. So I'm about to Titan with a red floating so I can get a better land than something that makes red for Hanweir. And he doesn't have Delirium. Actually, what I don't play around is I think he's about to Nature's Claim my Spelunking. I was just worried about Heat, I think. Yes, he is, because I recall Spelunking dies. And that's part of why on a later turn that's about to come up, I think I have Delirium, because I have 2 right now and Spelunking's 3, and just assume Creature was a missing one, because that's usually like a less common type to have in Yard. Like Enchantment, Artifact comes up a lot. I would think, I just forgot I cracked Analyst earlier in the game and had a Creature already. And what's nice about Tightening with the red floating here is I can just haste it for free. Is that what I'm doing? Yeah, I have a colorless here, so I'm going to Tighten with the red floating. Haste it for free. I think I'm about to... We'll see. Well, let's just see what I get. But Titan with the red floating with Hanweir on tap is pretty clear what I'm going for. I'm a little shocked he didn't kill my Spelunking earlier, but I did miss my land drop last turn. And I think it seems fine to just hold it up, right?
Yeah, I agree.
He might want to crack Spellbomb instead. In fact, that probably was what he was doing. I don't have if I'm drawing a land and I'm not drawing a Titan, and it's clear I'm missing the Titan, so he doesn't need to try to punish me punish the extra mana I'd get, I think. So if I recall correctly, I'm getting Bounce Land Dryad Arbor, which is the most face-up Force of Vigor ever. That said, like, if I didn't have it, Bog doesn't do anything here. I mean, it does something. It gets rid of the second Breach, making it harder for him to Breach plus Breach and beat Boseiju, but there's a Needle on Boseiju anyway. But yeah, I go for Bounce on Dryad Arbor, just to have a green land in hand now that I've now tapped out for Titan.
And it's making Delirium harder for Woodlands.
Huh?
He has Woodlands on for his Breach.
No, I'm not bogging him. I'm getting a Dryad Arbor bounce.
I know.
Yeah.
But
that might be a reason too, but...
Yeah.
It actually might have been right to bog him, but I also don't think I have... Oh, no, because I'm hasting the Titan. I can bog him now. This is what I do. Sure.
Yeah.
And me getting Boseiju here is just another, like, I'm just screaming at him I have Force of Vigor, right? Because there's a Needle in play. I'm not picking it up, but I just like having it there so I can pick it up later. And he's asking about melding Hanweir. I'm like, I have no idea what that does, man.
Hanweir, the Writhing Township, I believe.
He's like, this melds or something? I'm like, it does. I don't know what it does. I've never needed it.
Tara and I were talking about secret sideboard tech of playing Hanweir Garrison.
Right,
meld.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what he's thinking through here. He just passes. So this is about to be the turn where I make my mistake. And
Woodlands on...
Yes. So I'm about to cast a Collector Roof because I want to lead the turn off by making him act with his Aether Spellbomb. Because this way I can cast Titan pre-combat and haste it, instead of him using it in combat. So he has a tough decision here because he's about to Flame of Venor. And he ends up Flame of Venoring the Oof and planning to... I mean, he's not dead to the stuff I have on board, but it's obviously pretty bad for him. So he's going to kill the oof while he still has red mana. Makes enough sense. Draw 2, sure.
Yeah.
And this is where I think, oh, look, that's Delirium. I have 3 right now. This must be 4. I really should have checked. That's definitely my fault for not. I partially was tanking a bit and wanted to not play too slowly, and partially got excited because the line I'm about to take seemed cool. Because the line I'm going to try to take, which would work if I had one more type in yard, is Shifting Woodland my oof, attack with everything, get bounce Otawara his Emery, and then hit him for 11.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I think I have Delirium, and I'm checking that I have enough mana to do everything, basically.
And then, conveniently at this time, the judge steps away.
Yeah, well, no. Like, the judge said something, it's like, let me make sure of something. I don't know what the judges were talking about. They said, hold on a sec. And their hold on a sec is when I made my line. Yeah. So here I am, Shifting Woodland my oof. So as you can see, I have creature, enchantment, land. That's on me. That's my fault. I do want to justify that it would be, 1, this was an accident, and 2, I think I am 0% to lose this game with a Force of Vigor in hand. I'm about to bounce Beseiju to hand because, I start the combat by targeting this. If they tell me it's illegal, I don't have to tap all of my mana, and I can get different lands than what I'm about to get, which is Otawara. I have Beseiju in hand, a Force of Vigor, a green card to pitch to it, an instant speed Shifting Woodland my oof now that I put Force in my yard. Right? I don't think I can ever lose that game, and he has 1 type in his graveyard. That game seems completely unlosable, and it truly was just like an accident that I did this, and I didn't mean it. And he was a really good sport about it. I ended up calling a judge on myself while sideboarding. I mean, I would have taken it on the chin if they're like, you get a game loss. That seemed fair enough to me, but they're like, oh, that's okay. So yeah. I did point it out too. I was asking if they could tell the coverage people that I realized that was a problem. And I guess it didn't get to them, but anyway, I don't know if how their like headset process works, who talks to them. So let's see if we can skip past sideboarding, or yeah, this is me. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is game 3. So he leads on a hedge maze. I have a turn 1 Amulet. Obviously good. He's doing that thing where he's forced to tap out on turn 2, and I think I'm about to kill him on my turn 2. So if I bust out the mana symbols here, he's probably very scared.
I mean, if you bust out the second amulet, he already should be.
Yeah.
Pretty scared.
So here I am picking out my Beseiju. Never didn't have it, and I have a second bounce, obviously. I don't have Grazer or something. I have third Amulet and Dryad. And I'll just show you the prime time. I could walk you through the loop and everything. Probably not a productive use of our time. I think you can... I don't even need to kill him with the loop. I could just mirror pool, make 3 Titans, hit him with it, and have 3 Besejus up. Have fun.
And Valakut triggers.
Yeah.
Just...
So, let's just move on to the next one. So, we already covered the quarterfinals by accident. Let's skip to the semifinals, which is versus Energy.
And can I stop you right here?
Yeah.
Could we... I need to take a break.
Okay, sure.
I can obviously edit this back together, but you can call back in a bit. I have to do some stuff. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we can call back in a bit. I will text you.
All right, bye.
Yeah, I hope this has been good, though.
Yeah. All right, I'll stop recording.
All right.
Okay, So now we're heading into the semifinals versus Energy. This is a pretty favorable matchup. So, and I'm on the play because I'm first seed going into this, but I'm mulligan to 5, and it's not a great one. It's an okay one, but if he has basically anything, I probably lose.
Yeah.
And I still need to get lucky. So my 5, I believe, is Saga, Forest, Forest, Rumble, Saga, Forest, Forest, Rumble, Titan. So I need to hit any of a piece of ramp or a bounce and rumble into something else that I'm the other of the two I'm missing. And I need the
Yeah.
Scion to live unless I hit Amulet.
Yeah. And your best case scenario is hitting Lotus Field off of Rumble.
Yeah, that would be the only card that does it on its own, yeah. But I still need the Scion to live, and honestly, that's not very likely.
Yeah.
On 5, you should murder that thing on sight, probably.
Especially if it means you get to get a Ragvan hit, which is, I think, what we'll see in a second.
Yes, he is about to do that. No, this really isn't a point at 4 against Rumble, because honestly, if this hand had an Explorer instead of a Rumble, I think I never would have had a shot, because I'm missing 2 things. So, yeah, it's about to die. And yeah, Explore wouldn't let that happen, but Explore also wouldn't have found me something I'm missing. I think I took a bounce.
Yeah, you took a Simic.
Yeah. But in my first draw step, I can't recall what it was I got, but it definitely wasn't one of the missing pieces I mentioned. So he's getting with Ragavan. His hand's actually very good against me. He nabs a Titan, whatever. Actually, maybe I don't even have a Titan. I can't recall. Yeah, I forget what it is I'm missing. I just definitely don't have Grazer in hand because that would have been played on 1 into the Ragavan.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, this is the most punishing problem with Saga starts, which is if you don't do something on your turn 3, then you will be passing a lot.
Yeah, it's just really bad tempo. And then this following turn cycle from Energy is going to be just brutal with Flage and Static Prism.
Yeah. It's maybe even an argument that I should have Saga on 2, but it's reasonable enough to try to hit one thing I'm missing off Rumble and have 2 draws for the other.
I agree, especially if you have Lotus Field as a draw.
Yeah.
Or something to get off Rumble.
So I play Analyst here to block. Energy doesn't have ways to like permanently shut you off Analyst forever. Like if it gets flaged or something, you always have the option to woodland it, and if it gets prison, you can Besage you it. So it's not the worst thing to throw it out, and I just need to block here because my hand is so bad.
I mean, technically, if they flage it and then Thraben Charm your graveyard, but
yeah. But I'm about to get eviscerated here. The mulligans weren't kind to me this match, but I won anyway. The way you beat Amulet Titans with pressure and relevant interaction, and he only had relevant interaction and no pressure. So he gave me basically infinite time to dig my way out in the next 2 games you're about to see. But this one was exactly what Energy needs to do to win a pre-board game. Static Prison's the only card that does anything in this matchup, and having it in hand plus a Ragavan is pretty much always a great start. So yeah, I just kind of sit here, not really up to much. It's obviously not great that I lose game 1 because that's the only like free one. I wasn't sure how bad the Molten Rains my opponent has in his sideboard would be against me because I've never seen someone have a Stone Rain effect in an Energy sideboard. I mean, there's certainly another 3-mana red card that I fear slightly more than Molten Rain, but
yeah,
it's still an interesting dynamic because I mean, most of the land destruction effects Amulet faces make the land replace itself. So a bounce going down to a forest like White Orchid Phantom, like not great, but at least it's not fully gone. But just losing your bounce entirely is very bad for you. I do know that. Sorry, go ahead.
from here it's just looking real bad for
Yeah,
you.
it's awful. I don't think I have any live draws. It's actually possible I shouldn't have played my bounce. But I think I have to. I don't even a single amulet doesn't do it for me. I just don't have enough mana in play. I think my hand's a prime time in an unknown, but currently no draws get me to Titan because it's not a grazer. It would have, well, maybe it wouldn't be played. I might not have lands a hand, but well, you know what would be good here? The One Ring. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice.
I'd probably be like slightly unfavored if I had hit a ring, and if I hit ring into ring, I probably just win.
Have you considered though Green Suns for Spore Frog?
I don't know what that does, so I didn't.
1 mana, 1/1, sacrifice it, Fog.
Ew. Oh, but you can block then sack. Good call.
Yeah, that's in the age of where damage goes on the stack. Yeah,
No. It's a block but before damage sack.
for sure, for sure.
It's a super cat oven. Speaking of cats, there are a lot of them. I don't know. They were getting into the weeds on how many cats these get. I'm just like, let me take my draw so I can die, please. Like, he's like, do I get 7 cats? I never figured that stuff out. I honestly, people could like add 1 or 2 cats and I never notice. They're just like, I'll make 5 cats. Okay, sure.
He makes 1 and then he makes 1 because he's made 1, so he has 2. Then he makes a third and then he makes 3 because he's made 3.
Okay.
So he makes 6 total.
Yeah. So this was his post-board hands, if they had creatures in them, would have been better. I think the biggest problem is he boarded Wrath Disguisin', and I know a lot of people whine about how good that card is against Amulet on the Discord, but if you cut all your Urza Sagas, it basically does nothing. It was straight up embarrassing for him in our post-board games.
It's a fine card, but out of energy, where your entire deck, like most of your deck is 1-drops, it just seems real embarrassing.
Well, I mean, in contrast, like, energy is an actual energy deck, so they could like feasibly actually do it for 6, which could be something.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Although I guess pretty much every way they make energies with creatures, which is a signal that it's probably not all the greatest to use.
Yeah, like, it's just the odds that they're going to snap up a Titan in it is just kind of low, that they aren't already dead.
Yeah. So, post-board, this is another matchup where Dryads are at their best. Not only are having extra land drops good in the face of all the disenchants they're bringing in, but Valakut is pivotal in this matchup by a lot. The Vampire's Vengeance is obviously good. This matchup's pretty strong, but it's so popular. I felt it would be silly not to play a Sweeper, and plus I ended up liking the card against Black-White enough, and it won me a game against it at one point.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. They don't have any moons, so I don't even consider Force of Vigor. I sometimes consider keeping some Sagas in, but they have what? They have 2 main deck Thraben Charms, 2 Wrath, 2 Wear Tear. So they have 6 ways to kill it, and I have 4 Sagas. That seems bad. So I cut all of them, and it did its intended effect, which was make those Wrath of the Skies bad, because I think he casts some in both sideboard games, and it's awful in both of them. He's like, has to do it, but it just was so bad. Yeah. The Molten Rains ended up being good, just he just needed something that hit me. He needed like he needed just a creature on turn 2. It would have won. Probably.
But he just had a very slow hand.
Yeah.
And punished for it.
Yeah.
He double stone rained your bounces and it didn't matter.
I mean, you have to keep the hand that has 2 of them because your deck has so many creatures. So he brought in, why did it seem like his deck was so light on creatures? He brought in 4 Molten Rain, 2 Wrathskies, 6, 7, 8, 9.
What are his cuts?
He brought in 9 cards. I think he left too many discharges, and I think he needed to cut his more narrow interaction and keep more creatures in.
Yeah, I could see that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Surgical were in hand at one point. Because the way the game's played out, like, I just... the problem with Surgical in this match is how is the Titan getting to the yard? It means I cast one. You're not putting it in there for me.
I mean, like Rumble and Analyst, I guess.
That's
But
awkward, yeah.
it's just kind of narrow.
Yeah, I assume he probably didn't bring it in. I didn't see it. But happy to be on the play, at least for game 2. Hoping I don't mold a 5 again, but that ends up not ringing true. My hands are just unkeepable. They were like nothing, turn 3 Dryad, hope it lives, Titan you. If it dies, I have a turn 5 Titan and lose. My
I think
6
in this
had 1
game too,
land,
though.
I think.
I think in this game too, you keep 6 though.
I don't think so.
We'll find out.
No, because they were like commenting. It's like, yeah, you're probably going to that game 2, mulling to 5, thinking about where he's gonna get dinner.
And you want to just skip ahead here? Just
Yeah,
a little
I
bit.
should just skip ahead. Any second. Discord YouTube share doesn't let you hit arrow keys, and I don't want to skip
that's
through the beginning of the match. All my opponents were so pleasant, which is kind of nice. Oh, they switched
Yeah.
to this is not even my game. Okay,
Yeah, no, they switched. They skipped ahead past your like first turn, I believe.
sure. Okay, so I keep a bad 5 that plays Spelunking on 3. Spelunking on 3 is at least better than Dryad on 3. Hope your Titan lands, but not much.
Yeah.
So actually, whether I play this balance is kind of interesting. I don't have a third untap land to play Spelunking. No. I think I might. I can't recall if I didn't have a third untapped, in which case I'm like, well, this has to get played, and if I get Stone Rained, I do. I do know I have Deeps in hand, and I like am genuinely hoping, like, I'm thinking about gaining 4 off of it with the Spelunking about to cast. I think gaining 4 is lower upside than not getting a bounce Stone Rain, so I must just not have a third land to cast Spelunking, even though I know I'm getting Stone Rain, especially after he goes turn 1 no play, I think.
Yeah. Though you are on the play, so he can't Stone Rain you before.
Yeah, but
Your
it's
Spelunking just
on
misses.
5 cards, I'm just kind of screwed.
Yeah, but thankfully for you, he doesn't have anything turn 1 or 2.
Yes. So he's about to 3-man charm my Spelunking, and then we get in a little conversation. He's like, oh, I should have done that with that on the stack so it wouldn't enter untapped. Well, he said something about gaining 4. It wouldn't matter if you kill it. He might have thought it makes any cave you play gain you 4, instead of like if the card land you put in is a cave gain 4. Anyway, I draw Amulet off this Spelunking, which is pretty good for me actually. So I have that going for me. And I'm pretty much certain I'm about to get Molten Rained here. I start to joke about it and start jiggling it, so, you know, it's moving too fast to target. As a joke. Yeah, that's me, like, no, don't, no.
I do the same on Moto.
Yeah,
If your opponent thought seizes you, you just move around all the cards and
yeah.
pretend like that works.
Here we are talking for way too long about whether it matters if he did it with the trigger on the stack. For way too long. Like, it's over or whatever. So I'm at 22. I mean, I'm at 22 on turn 3. That's pretty good for me.
Yeah. It's like you played a Radiant Fountain, but you didn't have to play any bad cards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I saw it coming from a mile away. No one keeps a hand that doesn't have creatures on turns 1 and 2 unless it has what you feel is the most relevant sideboard card in the matchup. And as far as most relevant cards, it's not a very good one, but it's the best one he has.
Yeah. I question if it's better than Blood Moon versus Eldrazi, because that seems what it's trying to target.
It must be. I mean, he's won too much for him not to have absolutely stomped every Eldrazi player, and what I hear is a kind of bad matchup. Oh, so this is an important one. I'm choosing not to play Grazer to play around another Molten Rain because I'd have to put a bounce in play.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like pretty easily correct, and I almost feel silly for even considering casting it. Because the fact that I showed him I have Grazer makes it's a tell. It means he might. Well, I don't know what it really does. It might mean he prioritizes killing Amulet if he finally draws a threat. Like, let's say he was thinking about casting a threat, but now it looks like I have immediate utility out of that Amulet. So it was pretty bad that I almost put something on this table, even though I didn't.
I think here he does kill Amulet.
No, I don't think so. I don't recall. I think I think he keeps up Orum's Chant this turn, if I remember correctly.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. He fables and then keeps up Orum's Chant.
And this is something kind of frustrating about the fact that I have to put counters on the mana symbols. And they hand it to me. I'm like, I guess I have to use this. But, you know, imagine I'm just going Grazer because I want to pass the turn. I have nothing else to do. I don't pull out the mana symbols if I'm doing that.
Yeah.
If I'm about to Grazer as a ritual, and I'm gonna like he chants me, and like he's smart. I'm sure he'd figure it out. But like that's, you know, if I really sold it, look really disgruntled as I cast this Grazer, as if I've like drawn air for the last few turns, then I don't know. It could work.
I guess. I feel like any player would still Orum's Chant there.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with Orum's Chant though.
Yeah.
Like. But the problem is he Orum's Chants me into Molten Rains me. So
yeah.
And
yet somehow you still get there because he just draws air.
Yeah, he does. And as I get chanced, I'm like, well, crap. Now I'm playing into another Molten Rain, which apparently it looks like he doesn't have this second. It looks like he has a bunch of lands. Is that a black card? Is that Surgical? No, he would have pitched Surgical. There's no way, right?
No, he pitched 2 lands to his Fable. Well, I mean, we'll see in a sec.
But yeah, I mean, I guess he doesn't need 2 lands either. It looks like his hand's all lands. And maybe a Surgical. Yeah, and then they just hand me out like, okay, sure.
Semifinals of the RC and no one has a Goblin Shaman token.
Yeah, I'm like, I have one. It's in Racksack. You want me to get it?
And then here, yeah, as you play Grazer, it's going to get...
It's also just like such overkill to pull out the mana symbols here.
But... Yeah, like it's 6 mana. It's not like we're going all crazy. Like, we're not resolving a Cultivator Colossus. We're playing our Boreal Grazer.
Also, he should not chant this second. He should chant with the untap trigger on the stack.
Yeah, absolutely.
He chants this second though. He should see what it is I'm putting in. If it's a normal land, I just make 5 and pass.
Yeah.
So that's a slight. If Spelunking's in play, this is still not the right time to do it because if it's a bounce, then it puts a trigger on the stack. If it's Vestige, it puts a trigger on the stack. If it's Lotus, it puts a trigger on the stack.
Yes, that's true.
So, yeah, under no circumstances should he chant this instant. He should see what land it is I'm getting. And here I'm like, well, do I leave my bounce in hand? That's like pretty clearly wrong to bounce my bounce back. So I don't even know why I was thinking so hard about this. I was just like flabbergasted because now I'm playing into Molten Rain. I don't like it.
He technically, with Spelunking in play, he could get blown out by a Castle Garenbrig.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so, you know, maybe it's correct to Orum's Chant with Grazer on the stack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really fault anyone for not knowing the right time to do this stuff. Like, Amulet has heuristics for playing against it that are mostly correct, but sometimes not, including the one where, like, you should always wait to kill the Titan to see what they get first. Because if they go for haste, you get blown out. But the one exception is if they have enough leftover mana that they could get Mirror Pool Colorless Land, then just pass the turn with it up. That would be bad. But if you need Spelunking in play, so that they enter untapped. But like it's such a complicated deck to play against. It gets some points from no one knowing quite what's happening.
It remains tier 0 just because no one knows how to play it or play
Yeah.
against it.
And it looks like that was just a plains, not a surgical.
Oh yeah, just the double feature. And then here he draws a Molten Rain.
And a Wrath of the Skies, which he goes for, and I don't know if I agree with it.
It's like whether or not the Goblin Shaman is like, because like the Goblin Shaman is being walled by the Grazer, and how much do
He
you
has
demand
Galv in
here?
hand now, too.
Oh, that's
I
true.
thought I saw Galv.
Yeah, no, he has a Galvin hand. But I don't know. I feel like getting rid of the amulet is like relevant enough. If you have a bounce in hand, another bounce in hand. Oh no, no, no.
No, not when he's Molten Raining. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fair. Yeah, he could maybe wait a bit and get some damage in, but I don't know if the damage nor the treasures are
I
gonna
guess the
matter that
problem
much.
is he gets, like, what, 4 damage out of it. He burns a Gal for no reason and then still loses his pirate, his shaman, because he thinks he has to kill it anyway. So, like,
Yeah,
he's actually hemorrhaging more cards by galving the Grazer and holding it up. So I suppose it's correct to Wrath here. It just looks a little strange.
I agree.
I wonder if he kept them in after this. He probably did. I don't
think
know.
he
So
did.
many people don't cut sagas ever. His
I think Saga's
experience
just
might be different,
yeah. I think Saga's just a liability into energy,
I
even if
agree.
they're not on Blood Moon, just like Wear Terror, um, and those sort of things.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm still not too miffed about this. I'm at 20 on turn, like, 80 million.
Yeah,
I think I draw an Amulet this turn, I think. Yeah. And that's obviously incredible for me.
yeah.
Playing a
One
Vestige
thing
is a
that's
sign that I have a bounce and no other lands in hand, probably.
One thing that's questionable is you're leaving Deeps untapped, and you probably should have left Beseiju untapped.
It didn't really matter.
I feel like it's like it represents Beseiju on Blood Moon.
He
Like
doesn't have
another
Blood Moon.
Beseiju. He didn't have any Blood Moon in
It deeps as a
75.
Gruul Turf.
Deeps is a Gruul Turf? Okay, never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah. I thought you were talking about if he goes Molten Rain in to do something I need green for. I mean, maybe, yeah. Yeah, actually, I remember now. My draws were Amulet into Bounce. So, obviously, incredible for me. Because I was missing a bounce land. I pick up a Seiji here so that if he triple blocks, I can Beseiji the Fable. Although I actually miscounted and thought it added up to 6 for some reason. I think my last card in hand is Green Suns. Or no, it's Pact. He makes a block here that suggests he has Galv. He has how much energy? He has 0 energy.
Had no energy.
I think I misplayed here, but I mean, like, I also took a line that's like almost certain to win the game, but I had a better one. He's I'm about to
What's the
haste
better
this
line?
because I think he has none in hand, so it's free. No, I think he has none. Yeah, no, he has
one
one
hand.
card. I honestly maybe shouldn't haste. I probably
I feel
shouldn't
like
have hasted here. It's a little risky. I like. Let's talk about that. Should I have hasted here?
I think it's correct to haste here because the one like what answers this is what
Thraben
Thraben Charm
Charm.
exactly.
Yeah.
You have Pact in hand, you're getting Valakut. You're gonna be able to clean up whatever he plays if he does have exactly Thraben Charm. Because if it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Beseiju, you'll
yeah.
be able
That's
to
that. That's why I did it. That's why I did it.
yeah.
And I had
With
Beseiju in hand. I still thought triple blocking was 6 power. That's just me being stupid. He's about to block with a Fable Cat, which signals he is Galv, which means I should have Beseju'd Fable because then my Titan would take 2, and he'd have only 5 damage on it. So that was dumb. I shouldn't have let that happen. But again, I recognized he had Galv, and it just didn't occur to me. I don't know. Like I'm like, he has Galv, and I recognize that I can Beseiju Fable to make to make it take less damage. But I don't know why I wasn't just like Beseiju your reflection, your cat gets chumped. You have a Johnny with no red permanence, so I'm not really scared.
Is that not what happens here?
No, I just let it happen, and he doesn't Galv it in combat, which is correct. Not to Galv it in combat, you might as well wait. But like, it's not like this is bad for me. I know he has Galv. He's gonna Galv my Titan. He can Galv my Dryad too. I'm happy with either. But either way, all of his board's gonna be gone. He's gonna flip as a Johnny, and I'm gonna kill it. So yeah, this is obviously Galvanic Discharge. I'm just like, okay. I mean, I'll take my, I guess, 1.5 for 1. Sort of.
Yeah, I feel like Besageing here would still probably be better.
It would be better, but I looked at it as like, okay, you have Galv. Yeah, I just wasn't thinking.
That's fair. It was, I mean, this is semifinals after a long day.
Like, yeah, I was starting to play a little sloppy by this point. I thought my play up to this point, other than that shifting woodland fiasco, was pretty good. Yeah. And I definitely took like the second best line. But I think just Besageing here, he doesn't really have any outs.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I don't Dryad him, but I pass with a Pact in hand.
Interesting. Why didn't you Dryad here?
No, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, this is post-combat.
Okay.
Also, what I was doing was face up here. Like, haste with Valakut, Vesuva Valakut, Growth Chamber, 3 mana, sure, you know. It's pretty obvious what's about to happen, but... And he's right to kill the Titan instead of the Dryad at this point. Titan's another Dryad, it gets T-West. And here I just swap my bounces.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty inconsequential if I have a Beseiju up, but I do. Yeah. Yeah, and I think he draws a land and just dies. And I have my die on top of my deck, so I'm not losing that way. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. On to game 3.
Yeah. And this one's another slog. I misplay pretty hard in this one, I think. Well, I had 2 misplays. But we'll talk about it when it comes up. Let's skip.
Yeah.
Here. Nope, that did not do anything. Okay. My face itched a lot. Just like making a bunch of strange faces. That's why I can't like itch my face under the mic in front of.
Oh yeah.
Also, the mic is so weird. You can't hear us, so we can talk to each other, and they're noise canceling, and we don't hear everyone else. But they're not very good noise canceling headphones. Like I could still basically hear everything.
Oh, so basically, it's like texting someone who's right next to you.
Yeah.
You're talking to them through a microphone while they're in front of you.
Yeah, basically.
Interesting. Like, I guess that makes sense, but like, it's not that hard to hear them. Anyways, like,
it's not to hear your opponent; it's so you can't hear like people in the audience.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, in theory, they could be like, "Play Girl Turf," or something.
Yeah. He has Molten Rain.
Yeah, that would probably be more helpful than play Quill Turf. This Grazer like basically locks up this game for me. Like I'm also in this game at like 20 on turn 5.
Oh. I feel like I remember him galving the Grazer later on.
I don't remember what happens to this Grazer. All I know is this guy does not get in for damage for 5 turns or something. And he has a Molten Rain in hand, sure. I think another thing about this matchup is like Thraben Charm is actually kind of narrow.
I
It,
agree. Like it's hitting spelunking basically.
yeah, I mean it sucks that it hits Dryad to be honest, but
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
because it's actually like a disenchant that doesn't hit both for once, so you're actually playing into it more by putting another Dryad in your deck. But
Yeah. But like it's hitting creatures anyways, I guess. I
yeah,
don't know.
that's true. Yeah, it's pretty easy to kill with the other modes, so that's a fair point.
And like Dryad's already dies to discharge anyways, like I don't know. Raven Charm is basically just a discharge that also has some other modes.
Yeah. It makes sense that they're main decking that card. Like, it seems fine. It seems like Doomblade, normally. Every once in a
Yeah,
while you
and then
kill Underworld Breacher and there's a Saga.
exactly. It can kill Breach or it can exile their graveyard in response.
Yeah.
They mill over a Thassa's Oracle and you
Yeah, oh yeah. Get clowned. So I love the Grazer Vestige starts. It's just like your way to both develop and play your Amulet on one, so it's just your best line in Amulet dying. And I had enough lands in hand that weren't bounces that I didn't worry about playing into Molten Rain. If I wanted to play around Molten Rain and I like say didn't have this Valakut in hand to get Molten Rained, I probably would just go Amulet Go. Just because it means on his turn 3 I have 2 lands and the 2 lands that aren't bounces in play. That I had 3,
Yeah.
so I was happy to do that. And like now he ends up Molten Raining me. I mean given my hand it was definitely right. I had Titan Mana next turn. I think I had Lotus. So he took me off a breakpoint. That was good.
I question though, he had no plays on turn 2, so I guess he drew this Ocelot Pride in hand. Because he has an Ocelot Pride in hand. Yeah.
Yeah, he must have drawn it. It's too. He's playing too scared to hold up like a Thraben Charm or something.
Yeah.
When you play against Titan, you should never worry about turn 2s. You should just die to them.
Yeah, there's almost nothing you can ever do about them.
I mean, like he wouldn't be dead to it, but now he might be dead to, just him not hitting me.
Yeah. I think here he draws a Fable.
He also told me he blew up the Valakut to play around Vampire's Vengeance, which I can buy. Like that seems fine. I did tell him I have Vestige in hand and he knew about it. Or Vestige in play, which means bounce means Vestige is in hand. Yeah, like taking me off of a potential Titan turn and taking me off Vampire's Vengeance seems sound enough.
And it looks like here he plays Pride instead of playing the Fable in his hand, which I feel like isn't correct.
I think it's because he has Thraben Charm.
I guess so, but like once again, I don't know if Thraben Charm's that. Oh no, he does end up Thraben Charming your Titan here.
Yes, I think he wants 6 creatures.
Your creatures. Yeah.
So I have Titan here. He apparently chose to cast a threat instead of Molten Rain. I think. No. That was last game. I think.
Yeah, because he cast Molten Rain the turn
So
before.
I have another Titan in hand. I think about Thraben Charm. We're
And
gonna
then you
see
just
me.
find Lotus.
Let's pause it here because there are two things I think I did wrong. One, I don't think I should have cast a second Titan. I don't think I should go for Lotus Vesuva and cast another Titan. I don't think
Interesting. Why not?
like I'm at what 18.
Yeah.
Like I don't need it to block. It being in hand
Uh-huh.
is going to be good enough. I'm now immune to the Molten Rain that I've been playing around the whole game because like prime time's in play. I have enough mana. Um, like when you double Lotus, you are basically planning to haste one of them.
That's fair.
Like if you can haste one of them, that's fine. You have 4 mana after you do that if it works, right?
Hmm.
I think I just brain fart and look at this Vampire's Vengeance, think about Thraben Charm, like, oh yeah, Vengeance won't work. I have Thraben Charm. Or Thraben Charm won't work. I have Vengeance. Like, because I can kill his board in response and he loses on the spot.
Yeah, but you just don't have enough
Right.
mana.
Well, it would be kind of bizarre, but I could get like bounce land Beseiju and bounce my Lotus Field and hold it up,
Huh.
which
I guess, yeah.
but it still gives him a window to use it, right? That I think that's telegraphing enough. I don't know
Yeah.
what lands I could get that wouldn't look suspicious. Um,
I don't think there's anything.
yeah, I agree. So at the least, I like this plan to try to counter Thraben Charm with Vampire's Vengeance doesn't work, but I'm thinking about it. So I don't think I'm supposed to cast a second Titan, given that like I could pretty easily just cast it next turn, and I'm at an extremely healthy 18.
Yeah.
But what I'm about to do is even worse than casting the second Titan, which is cast the second Titan and try to haste it and sack all my lands. I genuinely do this because I just brain fart and I'm like, oh yeah, I have vengeance. I can counter it. And I just like thought I don't even know what I was thinking. I thought for some reason, like in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'll attack and just have vengeance. So why would he let me attack? That doesn't make any sense. I just like wasn't thinking. So that's just wrong. Like I just didn't think things through.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was a long tournament. It's the semis.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Like I don't hate hasting it if I've done this. Like my best grabs off the second Titan are literally Gruul Turf Beseiju. And then I just pass with Beseiju up, and then like at least I have red in play for Vampire's Vengeance.
Yeah.
That said, he has to have quite a lot for him to not be kind of screwed here. But if he goes Thraben Charm into Static Prison, I think I actually lose from this spot by a lot. So, yeah, I start hasting with Vestige because I'm like, oh, easy. Vestige plus bounces with Vampire's Vengeance.
But no more land drops.
Yeah, well, it's like I just thought in my head I'm like, yeah, I have it up here because of Vestige. Like, no, duh. That was stupid. So now I mean, I look pretty frustrated because I was dumb, and I'm just like crossing my fingers, hoping he doesn't have anything. Yeah, here I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
That was really dumb.
You have turf in hand? Or
I
some
no,
other
I don't think I have
benefits?
anything.
Yeah. Like,
Did it? Wait, did I? No, I played Lotus for turn. I think.
yeah. Well, it might have been correct to get Valakut here.
No, it's
To
dead.
Well, no, I know.
Oh, you mean deeps?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I could have gotten. I should have gotten deeps on Valakut. Yeah, but I just like way overthought and thought I needed Vestige to have Vengeance up for some reason. Like, I'm
Yeah,
on.
and then here, your opponent draws a second Goblin Bombardment, which is
Yeah,
not good for them.
completely useless. And
They
at this
just have to
point, I
play a
just take the
stable
guide
deck.
because Grazer blocks everything else. So, or take the Pride. And I mean, from this point, I actually can't lose. I can mirror pull my Titan. I guess that's a reason not to get deeps. Can't mirror pull my Titan, but I mean, like I probably should have just gotten deeps on Valakut to have red.
Yeah, I think that's technically the play. Um,
But I mean, you might be able to imagine how this goes for me from this point. If I untap, everything is amazing for me.
Yeah, just untapping with a Titan on board
Yeah.
is pretty
A
great.
Titan on board at 15 with a bunch of weenies in hand that I have a 2 damage sweeper for. I end up attacking and mirror pulling my Titan, and then Vampire's Vengeancing before blocks. So they can't block it down. And they don't even have enough to block it down.
Yeah, got 5 power in play.
Yeah, I should have waited actually, but it doesn't. I don't know if I have like a channel land in hand or something. I guess I might need to use like Vestige mana to do it. I don't know. That's another like 99% play versus 100. I can just literally never lose the game after killing his whole board.
What's on your mind here, Pete? Why
Oh,
are
I'm
you
tanking
taking
too
so
long about making sure I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
actually mirror pull my Titan. It's
I
pretty obvious. I'm like, I must have been tired because I'm like, I can mirror pull with a bouncy, right? No.
No. Has to be Deeps on Lotus, which
Yeah.
I guess that's the reason to not Deeps on Valakut, I suppose.
Yeah. And then I think I end up getting like Vestige, like Forest or something off the second Titan just to not have good things to sack to my Lotus. I need to start rebuilding all the lands I've made kill themselves. Man, I'm taking a long time to do this.
Yeah, it's kind of pissing me off.
I don't know. I was just like, I just screwed up really badly. Let's make sure I don't do that again. I don't know.
That's fair.
It is nice how much more utility Mirror Pull has in the deck with Lotus Field. That card used to be really stinky in the no analyst builds.
What do you mean?
Mirror Pool? It was like
Yeah.
necessary, but it was stinky. How often have you
Yes.
cloned Pact or like Green Suns with it?
Never.
I've done
almost
it.
Never.
I've done it twice. I used
Wow.
it once with no Colossus in deck to beat an Asmo with like a bajillion foods, and then I used it another time to beat a Force Negation.
Interesting.
That was pretty cool. Counter it. I'll clone it. Oh yeah, this actually makes sense. Shifting Woodland seems pretty good here. But I get Vestige Shifting Woodlands, right? I have Creature. It's just Creature Land?
Creature land and it will be instant in a second.
Yeah. That seems fine. I mean, like, I just need something one land that doesn't bounce anything that's good to sit and play, and Shifting Woodland seems like the best one.
I agree. You could maybe argue like Telaria West.
I think I drew Pact.
Okay.
Oh, you are now hosting. Okay,
Yes,
we're
I
gonna
am.
have to cut this out.
It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay. If I'm getting Vestige, then I have to Vampire's Vengeance a second. And I think that's probably fine to do over keeping another land in play, right? Because if I'm holding up Vampire's Vengeance, I have to sack.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Actually, I have to sack my Lotus, right? Yeah, this is way better than sacking my Lotus. It lets me use Vestige mana and not have to sack a million lands.
Mhm.
Do I have to sack my Lotus? Bounce, cast. I have 2 sacks, and I
I don't
sack
think
2.
so.
No, I don't. Yeah, I think it's fine to be up a land and to cast it there, though.
Yeah.
I was probably gonna to I don't know.
I don't think there's really a point in moving to blocks or anything.
Yeah. I mean, he's being a pretty good sport. I feel a little bad. He was a nice guy. I mean, everyone I played against was pretty nice.
Yeah. But yeah, at this point, it's pretty favorable for you.
Yeah, and I end up killing him next turn with Analyst.
Triad. Oh, Analyst.
Yeah. I mean, I can pay for Pact if I do it. I question if I even should have. Like, what is he gonna do?
No, I think it's fair to just try to get the game over as soon as possible.
Yeah. I mean, I just swing with 2 Titans. Oh, my Valakut is... I guess it's not gone. I have to just bounce my Lotus, which is awkward. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to kill this turn, it has to... I believe it has to be with Analyst, not Dry. I just doubt I have enough mana to do everything with bouncing my Deeps and transmuting. No, I definitely could. If I have Pact in hand, I could just kill with that. I don't know. I did play in a Thraben Charm, but it also doesn't really matter. He's just dead to 2 6s because 6 6s. And you already used 1. In fact, the right line is to cast Amulet. Isn't the right line to cast Analyst and in combat attack and then get enough mana to double crack Analyst? I don't have close to enough mana, right?
Why? Just to play around Thraben Charm?
Yeah, can I crack my Analyst if he Thraben Charms, I Woodland it and then do it again? I don't think I have any way of getting to that much mana. That's a lot.
That's a lot of mana.
Because if I have 5 and all bounces 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, cast would be down to 9, crack would be down to yeah, not even close. Especially with no Lotuses in my deck. He might just have 0 in hand, actually. I'm not sure. No, he has 2. Yeah, I don't know why I played into Thraben Charm.
He doesn't have 2 mana up.
Oh, right. Yeah, perfect. There we go. Yeah. On 1 mana, he doesn't have anything, and I don't care about Chant here. Good. Okay, I'm not that stupid then. Perfect. I don't know why I didn't play the Vestige first. It also doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
He wouldn't pass the turn with my Amulet in play if he had Wear Tear. Is that Escape Shift I kept in? No, it looks like a Rumble.
No, that's a shift.
Is it? Oh, I guess I just cut
guess.
all 4 Sagas and brought in 2 Dryas, 2 Vengeance. That seems fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I cut 1 shift versus Boros.
Yeah, I mean, I just have a 4 for 4 there. So I win here. I'm just explaining it, and he, I mean, within his rights, asked me to show him 1 loop of it, basically. So
Yeah.
let's move on to the finals,
Against Breach once again.
which is at 8:43:52. And this guy is the person I unintentionally drew against. That was a pretty frustrating game. But we'll focus on this one.
How did you unintentionally draw?
He boarded in the Jace. When I played against Nathan, he didn't do that. He didn't bring in his alt win cons. He just swapped Oracle for Grape Shot because Grape Shot kills Oof. Um, and he didn't actually breach me. He just grinding stationed his deck and then cast it with 0 cards in library and the last bauble in play. And then one on my upkeep. The funny thing is I could have played around it by if I'd grabbed Mirror Pull off my Titan. I have a pack to pay for, but because of but anyway, so I have a pack to pay for. What happens is I shifting with my Dryad, then Mirror Pull my Titan and kill the Jace with Valakut. And then he decks himself before I have to pay for a pact, which I can't do. So he kills himself. He kills himself with my killing myself on the stack, which would have been so funny. I just didn't think to do it. I'm like, how can I lose? I'm up a game. It's turn 3 of turns. I'm at like 18, and there's no way he can kill me with a combo. Like he's on Grape Shot. Like he has like not enough cards left in deck. But I just kept bogging him. I just didn't think about it. It's kind of on me. So I keep like a Grazer Spelunking hand. I love those so much. They also have the advantage of not looking very good. You're like turn 1 Grazer hands. You're like, oh, this hand seems kind of stinky.
The thing about Grazer is it infinitely walls Tameo, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who knows? Like maybe he thought it was stinky. It didn't hold up the Spell Pierce he apparently had. Here I have to play my Vestige. Obviously, if I have any other land, I don't do that. But I'm about to play a Green Source and Green Suns for Arbor to get for 6 off of a normal land. I can't recall. I think I have T-West in hand as my 6 mana for next turn. Green Suns on 0, just like actually winning me the game here. Having access to Arbor. Their deck just like has no removal. Or almost none.
Yeah. It's like they bring in some heats post-board, but pre-board it's like Aether Spellbomb, I guess.
He had a heat, a Flame of Anor, I think, a Spell Pierce, Spell Snare. This guy is cool as a cucumber. He does everything like...
Low.
Well, not even. Look how organized everything is.
Yeah, I like that.
And look at my crap.
Look how off-skewed it is. All of his stuff is at 90-degree angles. Meanwhile, yeah.
Not happy to see a Breaching Yard. It makes it a lot harder for Beseiju to beat it, but I'm pretty sure I know I have lethal in hand.
And he's stuck on 1 land, which isn't bad.
Yeah. I mean, he's tapped out. He just has to tap out for these plays.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Urza Saga that I have, which just lets me keep T-West in hand, and I play Urza Saga over T-West because it's free Delirium. And I'm going for Double Lotus here, I believe. I have naturally assembled the loop because that's instant creature, enchantment land. And I'm just like quadruple checking here. I guess I didn't quadruple check that hard. And he already looks, he sees Double Lotus, he's like, I am screwed. That's never a good sign. And I definitely want to sack a Bounce because that thing gets T-West back, and I definitely want to sack Saga for Delirium. I'm just making sure. Enchantment land instant, and it's about to be creature. And I kill him pretty straightforwardly with T-West.
Yeah. T-Westing for another Titan to get Mirror Pool, and then...
Yeah, like Vesuvia Otawara, and then I'm like, why would I do that? I'll Vesuva Vestige. I could have Vesuvied Woodland, too. It probably would have been better. I don't know. I could... It's going to be hard to lose this.
Yeah.
But I'll just wait for me to slam T-West on the table. From here, I'm just like, I have infinite. Here's my T-West. honestly, we can fast forward through. It's nothing too
Yeah. Do you want to
crazy.
just go to game two?
Yeah, I'm explaining what's happening here. So he's just making me go through one thing of the combo. I'm like, I'm going to get my Miracle now. Yeah. So let's look at my sideboard really quick. I mean, I suppose we've already discussed how I sideboard. Dryad's in, Durance in, Oof's in, Keen-Eye Curator, Forces, Bajuka Bog for Four Sagas, Grazer, Pact, Scape Shifts, I believe.
Yeah.
So let's just skip to the next one. This is a very interesting game. I didn't realize how close I was to winning this one. Still sideboarding here. Okay. I think I'm mulliganing to 5. If I remember correctly, I think he keeps 6, 7. I don't know. So he has a Grape Shot in hand, which means he can answer Oof. Oh, wow. He didn't fetch. Okay. We're about to see what happens in this one, but it's pretty surprising this game played out that way.
This is what looked to be a no-lander from him. So
so he's mulliganing. Okay.
I think so. But he's thinking about it. Because it has, I think, double Mox. Or Mox plus Bobble. But I think he ends up mulliganing this.
Yeah, he does. There's no way he doesn't fetch red when he has 2 answers for Oof in hand. Because this game ends up being really close just because he never fetches a red source. And I Oof him. I feel pretty favored in this matchup. I think I have a really good grip on it. It's probably going to show itself well here. I mean, I guess I might be tooting my own horn because basically I just keep any hand that has an Oof in it. Like, no matter how awkward it is, but...
I mean, that's how you get there in the matchup.
Yeah. Well, or any hand that just kills him on turn 3. Or at least tightens him. But that's a no-brainer. They're more equipped to beat your turn 3s than they are equipped to beat an Oof.
Yeah, though I predict in the future they're going to be going up on answers for Oof.
Hey, this guy has a lot of answers. He sided in Bolt, which actually makes sense. That was heads up. Bolt usually sucks against Titan, but that was heads up. He's also played against me already, so you might know that I just like keep literally any hand with a Collector Oof in it.
I see. Did you play against him earlier in the...
Yeah, that was the one I drew. It's so hard for them. They don't, like... they don't know if you're just going to kill them on turn 3 or just, like, make them fight against this Oof. Like, are they mulligan? Are they supposed to keep Lightning Bolt or Nature's Claim? And so many of their early cards have to be Moxes that they, like, are forced to pick one piece of interaction if they mulligan. I could see that being a pretty difficult dynamic.
And for you, yeah, you're going to 5 here. And most, like, your best hand is probably going to be just an Oof backed up by, like, a turn 3 Dryad or a Spelunking.
This hand is something similar, but the lands that are in it make it supremely awkward.
I see.
I believe I keep Vestige, Bog, Oof, Bounce Land, Dryad. Vestige, Bog, Oof, Bounce Land, Dryad, yeah, on 5. So it's already hurting to draw a second bounce, and it doesn't have green on turn 3 because I think I have to Oof him on turn 2. And it has to play the Bog out on 1, which is like, it's not that I care that he knows about it, it's just I only have 1 bounce in hand, and because I don't have any green, I might be priced into picking up Vestige instead of Bog. I think my bottoms were Vesuva and Primeval Titan.
I think that makes sense. I question... Yeah, it's probably correct to keep Bounce over Vesuva. I question whether Vesuva on Vestige to have a guaranteed turn 3 Dryad.
No, I can't. That's a 3-lander on 5 with no threat.
Yeah.
Like, I then have to draw 3 lands in a row in a Titan. That seems horrible.
Yeah. I just
And
think that's
Vesuva on
the
Vestige
only
is also
real.
so bad because I don't have any green if Dryad
Yeah, I
dies.
just think that's the only like real like contention you can make.
Yeah. I mean, Vesuva was attractive with a bog. Like, if I liked having access. I ended up drawing my second bounce as my first draw, I believe, but.
You should have targeted yourself
Yeah.
because that way if he has a card that cares about you committing a crime, then it wouldn't trigger.
In this game, I think I see he plays all 4 consigns because I end up seeing a lot of his deck when he kills me. Or that might have been from the last time we played. I can't remember.
I mean, 4 consigns seems pretty stock, is it not?
No, so Nathan was siding in as many consigns as he had free cuts, which ended up being like 2.
Oh, okay, I see.
I mean, when consign's bad, it's so bad. I'd even take like Forest off the top at this point. That would help this hand so much. Like,
Drastically, yeah.
I get choked
Just being
on
able to
green
go-
like this whole game. I mean, my opponent
see.
gets choked on 2 lands in red, so I mean, I can't complain that much. But
Interesting. Why do they fetch? Oh, do they? I guess because they milled over steam vents.
yeah, they milled over Steam Vents, and I guess wanted double blue. I actually should have read into that.
Oh.
Did he shock to keep up Swan Song? I don't have any plays that can be Swan Songed, right? No, that's not true. I could Green Suns. I get Green Suns for
Green
Arbor.
Suns. And then Swansong also hits enchantments, but yeah, no, you can't.
Yeah, I don't have
that.
any enchantments. Green Suns for Arbor. It stops. It's fair, I guess. But I should have read into Swan Song or. I think I read more into Consign here than Swan Song. He just ends up having Swan Song. It's like more consigns on top of me actually being able to cast a good thing that's consignable. So he's thinking here. I don't know what that means. Right? If you don't have an answer for Oof, you always crack Bobble. If you do, then you think about it because you have an Artifact Light hand and you have Opal. It might be because of this Urza Saga, actually. Maybe he just wants to bash my skull in with it. But that
just
still
having
seems
more
pretty
artifacts in
loose
play.
because he only has 2 artifacts in his yard in general, but he is about to Rumble. So he might hit another. Which he did not.
Here, yeah, that's rough. Hitting a backup Emery.
Yeah. I think he was thinking of not cracking to make the constructs bigger. Which, like, you know, solid enough thought process. That's how I died. Or, like, why I had to tap out on the turn I died. I think I had Beseiju the whole game, but I don't want to Beseiju a construct and give him red.
Yeah, that just seems supremely bad. Because he just seems to be choked on red here. It still seems weird that he didn't fetch red off of
It
his
was weird, yeah.
turn.
Because every fetch in that deck fetches everything.
Yeah.
Oh, next turn I'm about to make a very funny play, or almost make.
You like attack Oof into a
Yeah,
construct?
I almost attack Oof into a construct. That would have been a disaster.
That would have lost you the game on the spot.
Yeah,
probably.
it would have. He could see my face like, whoa!
Let's watch for it.
Yeah, I just had like Scion blindness for a second. Or Spawn blindness. This gets swan songed. Which at the time I was happy about because I didn't see the Scion. I'm like, yes, I'm dying to these constructs. It's like, wait, no. Oh, wait, they don't have a token. That's why this is taking so long.
Oh, okay. There's the bird. And then there's the face. There's the
Yeah, it's me going, that would have been so bad.
yeah.
So, my back's up against the wall here. I have time, but not much of it. I think I go for Rumble here instead of Otawara, one of these constructs. I don't know if that was right.
I feel like that's wrong. Because that just cuts his clock by so much. And at the moment, he's not threatening you via a combo. It's literally just these constructs. And cutting from 10 power to 4 is a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's because I had Beseiju in hand. I'm like, I can hold up Otawara Beseiju for constructs if I have to.
Yeah, I don't think I like that. Oh, and now he has red online.
No, he doesn't. He still an even play.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
That's also an Amber that just doesn't work.
He has Emery.
He said red.
Oh, does it not tap for any color?
No, it taps for a color.
Okay, I'm just making myself look dumb on camera. It's okay.
Bruh.
We're watching like a solid 3 hours of footage here.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, life would have been so much easier for me if that Simic Growth Chamber were not my only green source. I would love Rumble plus Otawara here. I just thought I needed more mana to play with. And these hits were awful.
Yeah, I mean, Keen-Eyed Curator is just uncastable. I mean, do you end up taking Vestige here?
I take Keen-Eyed Curator. So I take Keen-Eyed Curator with my goal to answer one construct and outsize the second now that I bogged him, but I think I forgot he had second Emery.
I see.
Which can lead to outsizing the constructs because he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So any artifact makes them trade, and 2 makes it bigger.
Yeah, I think Otawara here would have left you in a more stable position.
Oh, no. Well, okay. I think the reason why I did it is because the Scion could chump, so it felt the same. But
yeah, that's fair.
Otawara here uses my mana better.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, no, I know why I did it. It's because I have Titan in hand. I wanted to hit Amulet. I wanted to hit Amulet or Spelunking to like lock up the game immediately.
That makes sense. I don't hate that.
Yeah. I now like my play. And I look at it as like I can, and I go play turf this turn and have Otawara Beseiju available to me. Otawara Beseiju is my worst possible, which seemed okay. Him attacking first was wrong. I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he knew I was going to chump.
They're getting chumped, but yeah.
He's not supposed to do that. So, I don't draw anything of use this turn. I recognize that playing Primeval Titan is not even close to good enough. I have to double chump. I have to chump with it. That seems terrible. I don't like Besageing either of these constructs because it gives him red, which seems heinous. I still have Otawara in hand. I land on, I think, a while, and I land on Keen-Eye plus Otawara, which taps me out of Beseiju, but he's clearly having issues with this oof. So he has to either have red source plus a red removal spell, which he definitely doesn't have red source, or he needs, you know, as it turns out, Otawara, which he peels, is about to peel. So I tap out here. I'm about to. I take my sweet time.
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, it's just such a mediocre play. Keen-Eye Curator, Otawara, go. Because Keen-Eye Curator is, like, insanely awkward to cast. I can't. I have to Otawara main phase now. So I'm Keen-Eyeing with the green floating, with the red floating. Yeah, it seems just so strange to cast Keen-Eye Curator over Primeval Titan, but I think this is right from this spot.
I agree.
And now I can eat a hit, keep Keen-Eyed in play. Titan next turn.
If you have any land, then that Titan can grow Keen-Eyed into a 7/7.
What?
Because you've got, if you have any land in hand, then Titan next turn grows Keen-Eyed to a 7/7. Because you get vestige, land, and you take out Urza Saga, like Emery Mox Opal.
That seems greedy.
What do you mean?
Well, I can just chump with Keen-Eye Curator next turn.
But you don't have to.
Yeah, but I'd rather, like, bog him or something, or get Beseiju and chomp.
Yeah, I guess bogging.
He doesn't have removal, obviously.
You want to skip ahead just a little bit?
Yeah. So here, what do I end up getting? Oh, I set up a kill. I get shifting with... No, this is way better than your line lane, sorry. I get shifting with Invalakut.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. With Dread Yard, that is definitely.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about... doing the funny thing and getting Keen-Eyed Curator to a 7/7.
I mean, it still trades down with the construct, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, his construct's huge.
Yeah.
It chomps the construct still as a 7/7.
Yeah. That's fair.
My opponent appears to be asleep. He didn't look like that on looking at him, but he does look really tired. That looked like a sigh of, oh shit, I'm dead to that. I play Beseiju here because I could Titan and pick it up next turn, and I might need Keen-Eye. It seems like impossible that it will ever do anything, but it's not doing anything in hand either. Although I don't recall if I have a bounce in hand. I probably should have kept it if I was gonna go for Valakut next turn. I might have more lands in hand.
And then here your opponent just peels Otawara.
Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking so hard about. Like, it's pretty clear I'm trying to kill him. He has to do this. Like, he should just do it and then see if he has enough resources to make it work. Like, he has no other choice, right? Maybe he was thinking about, and I brought this up, if he can force a chump with Collector Oof. By, can he? No.
I don't think so.
He can't force a chump.
You've got too many blockers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Actually, I probably do win if I jump with Titan.
With Dryden Grave, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's at 14. I don't know.
Well,
He's at
I get to
14.
bounce Beseiju. If
I still feel like that's not enough. I think
Okay.
something with Titan. No.
And I'm dead here. You can beat a Keen-Eyed Curator with 1 mana very easily.
Yeah.
I just make him do it. Like, the only way he misplays is if he lets me exile his Grape Shot, which he didn't.
Right.
He just
On
needs
to
to
game
cast
3.
it as soon as he sees it. I think if he mills it in like his first or second thing, first or second grinding station, that's a problem for him. But probably not even.
Alright. So, your opponent's opening 7's got Heat and Consign. But chips it.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the draw consign. He should probably. I wonder if he should just cut some consigns on the draw.
That makes sense. I mean, you're not sniping any turn 1 amulets.
Yeah. I mean, consigns like time walk then kill you on Titan. Like that consign on a Titan is at its best in this matchup.
Yeah. Just wait for them to tap out and.
Yeah, and sometimes you just kind of have to, which sucks.
Yeah.
But usually you don't. Usually you have moves you can make that don't tap you out that are worth doing, and then once it's established that what you have in play is really hard for them to beat, then you tap out. Here, let's skip to when this thing starts. I think I keep 7. I start with Green Suns, which is a bad sign for him.
Yeah, if you're using this,
Yeah,
you're using your Green Suns to get ahead here, then it means you already have an oof
Yeah.
or another Green Suns. Or you're just about to kill him.
Turns out I have both. So. Or something. I can't recall if I peeled the Echoing Deeps that I ended up using to copy Lotus on my turn 3 after Spelunking.
And this is how you became RC champion.
Yeah. I don't think I can ask for a much better hand than the one I kept in this last game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on the play with a turn 3 is about as good as you can get.
Yeah. On the play with a turn 3 and an oof.
Yeah,
still casts the oof before getting turn 3'd. Like the oof blank this might too. And like by the time my oof is on the stack and he hasn't floated a red, I know I've probably won. Haywire Might's off. I've just like functionally mulliganed him. Well, I've mulliganed him 3 times and
Yeah, he's got one land.
mulligan him 3 times and kill him next turn. So, oh, here I am green sensing for an oof, sure.
Yeah.
And like again, this hand would have been pretty awkward if Dryad Arbor died because I don't have any green that sits in play. But like that deck is just that deck's never killing a Dryad Arbor.
It just can't afford to.
Yeah,
it can't. Yeah. I think even if they have 2 Unholy Heats in hand, it's still correct to not bolt the Arbor.
It might not be. The breach plus heat is the second oof answer, and I only run 2.
Yeah. All right, let's watch you win this.
I end up winning next turn, but
Okay.
actually, Fat Finger
yeah.
and sack the wrong land. Like I sacked my deeps for no consequence, I believe. I just got a little excited, I guess, because, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you were about to win 10 grand. Like,
Yeah. Well, I didn't care that much about it. I wanted to win.
you were
the
about to
thing.
win. You were about to win the world's largest butt plug. That's what you were excited about.
Yes.
Which got flagged going through TSA.
Yeah, I got flag going through TSA. It looks so suspicious. It looked like a radioactive butt plug. It also has the wrong year on it. It says 2024.
You should email them about that.
I should. Do you think they'll send me a second? I can keep one at work.
Yeah,
That'd be funny.
that would be nice.
And I spend too long tanking here. I'm like, ooh, do I keep Arbor in play to mounts for force? Like, I don't have force in hand, I don't think, but like I spend so long thinking about to sack, not realizing I'm about to sack everything. Almost. Unfortunately, I don't get to gain 4 life this way. Off my echoing deeps.
But it's not exactly like life total particularly matters here.
Yeah, I think I straight up just forgot what I was doing when he was asking me about spelunking. Like, I didn't even
Oh, you
think.
stacked deeps instead
Yeah,
of...
I did.
Yeah,
There's no reason to do that. It looks like I'm about to kill him with Analyst or something, but no, I don't have it. Actually, did I? No. What would I be thinking about? Maybe I did have an Analyst in hand and realized it just didn't really do anything.
yeah, I don't see...
No, I think I'm looking for whether I can get Dryad. If I can get Valaka triggers. That's probably what I'm thinking about. Which I obviously can't. I don't have enough lands.
Yeah,
I mean, he can never beat this, but
yeah.
I don't know why I sacked my deeps.
Needs to have, what? Removal for Oof plus a double breach.
He just doesn't have enough mana.
No, he has lands double breach plus removal. That's the only thing that beats him.
Yeah,
I don't think he has enough cards in hand is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, land removal double breach does it. Or like Mox's try to grinding station yourself does it.
Mhm.
Honestly, at this point, my nerves were so bad. I actually hadn't computed that I had Xaxes on him with this attack and should have swung with Oof.
Oh,
Because I'm about to Otawara his construct. But, like, yeah, I was just getting nervous. I could have sent him to 1 this turn by accident instead you know, I don't think I fully counted. All I knew is I didn't want to Beseiju any blocker because I didn't want to give him an extra land.
more mana. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want him to have like Nature's Claim or something. If I Beseiju his blocker or Beseiju... Yeah, if I Beseiju his blocker, he can Nature's Claim my Spelunking. Not even. I just do it after the trigger goes on, after the Titan and taps happen. It's like
It's just giving him more mana here isn't great.
I mean, if it kills him, it kills him. But
Yeah.
what's nice about him not having mana is if he makes this construct, he is out of things to do. Like he is done. You know.
What do you mean Odawara on construct for Xaxes?
Uh,
Is
so he makes a construct. I have Green Suns in hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I realize I can get Valaka triggers post combat. In fact, I am supposed to be Vesuvaing.
You're Valak.
I should be Vesuvaing my bounce when I get this Besaju I'm about to get, so I can pick it up.
Oh, and then have Vesuva. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I could have done more damage. I just got lost in the sauce. Like,
Yeah. That happens.
too much was going on. Whenever too much is going on, pick a line that's like obviously insane and then just like do it instead of just psyching yourself out. So here I recognize if I float here, I can Odawara the construct before phases end because he has to make it here. Someone on YouTube thought I was cheating here because I paid 3 mana for this Odawara, but I floated here. I went past phases. He goes, I'll make a construct. And I said before phases change, I'm going to Odawara it.
Got it.
But the oof was a free attack. Picking up Vesuvaing my bounce was correct, so that I have 9 damage post combat by going bounce, pick up Vesuva, play Vesuva as Valakut.
Yeah, and from here. we're just
This
gonna
attack
post
sends
combat.
him to 6 if he chumps, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gain 11, take 5. Gain 2, 11, take 5.
Yeah. No. Oof would not have been Xaxes.
No, it wouldn't have been. It was just free.
Okay. It would have. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
shuts
free
off-
damage. If this was my
suppose,
line,
I
this is free damage.
Yeah.
Bounce, dead.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, so that's it.
Well,
I didn't play
congrats
great near
on-
the end, but you know.
you won 15 matches basically in a row. I think it was a hell of an event. Any other comments?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's
We
still
will
pretty
hope-
crazy.
Yeah.
But
We'll hopefully have a podcast episode also covering.
yes, and I'm planning to write a sideboard guide and a guide about my build of the deck just because many people ask me. I'm usually sort of opposed to charging for that, but for once I have a result that merits someone actually throwing some money at me. I'll probably post about that on my Twitter. It's going to be about, you can expect to be about as in-depth as my article I have pinned there. And it'll probably be like $10, I don't know. I'm not going to update it as the list changes, but the way I'm writing it's going to go into matchup details, and it's going to teach you more about figuring out how to sideboard for yourself than it is going to tell you how to use my exact list. So hopefully that helps you more than normal sideboard guards would. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's it.
See you guys.